been the same since you had your little crash, but you might feel better if they gave you some cash. The more I think about it, old Billy was right. Let's kill all the lawyers, kill them tonight. You don't want to work, but you want to live like a king. But the big bad world doesn't owe you a thing. Get over it. Get over it.
I'm C. Mark.
I'm John Mark, and this is Two Marks, One Mic.
Two Marks, One Mic. Our first podcast.
How about that?
They finally got us sitting down in one location for 5 minutes.
And you know, this is perfect timing because we are about to go into effect January the 1st here in Chattanooga. This new law where police officers are not going to be responding
Right.
to all the crashes.
This is the way you would respond to a crash before January the 1st. You would be involved in a crash. You'd get out your cell phone. You'd call 911. I've been involved in a crash. Thank you. And the police would show up. The police would investigate the accident. The police would determine the fault. The police would confirm the insurance on the other driver. The police would confirm the other driver is a licensed driver. And everything worked out splendidly.
You know, and
This is going to be a train wreck.
You know, what
It's going to be a train wreck.
Look, what the police officers did so well, the way they used to do it is, when they arrived at the scene, they interviewed the people involved in the
Right.
crash. They interviewed the witnesses.
Right.
They were able to get real-time statements from
Yes,
people that
right.
saw the
Right.
accident,
Because really,
involved in the accidents, and that provided some very important information to help the police officer decide who was at fault and to properly prepare an
they're
accident report.
trained to do that. You know, what I think is going to happen is an episode of Andy Griffith when Gomer is trying to arrest Barney. Citizens arrest! Citizens arrest! Because this is what's going to happen after January the 1st. You're not going to be calling 911. You're going to call dispatch, and you're going to be talking to dispatch. And now picture this: you're on the side of a road. You've just been involved in a car accident. You're calling dispatch. You're listening to a recording, and you have to determine whether or not it's now your job
Yes.
to.
Yeah, and that's some important background for people to know. The difference is now is that if you're involved in a crash where there are no injuries,
Right.
and the vehicles we can drive the vehicles
Yeah.
away, the police are not going to respond
No police.
to
No police.
those crashes.
It is now, you've been deputized. You're now deputy of Hamilton County or Chattanooga City, and now it's your job to go to the other driver and ask for their driver's license. How's that going to go?
Driver's license, registration,
How's that going to go?
insurance information.
I mean, you know, how's that going to go?
And you can see how this is going to create a problem where you're going to have people to say, hey, this isn't my fault. I'm not giving you my information.
Why should I give you my insurance
Yeah.
information?
Yeah.
This is your fault.
Yeah, you give me
Yeah,
yours.
Yeah, you give me yours. And you say, oh, I'm going to give you yours. So what's going to happen is this. Cars, they're going to drive off. They're going to drive off, you know. And the following day, they thought they might not be hurt at the accident scene. Because Joe Mark and I have been doing this for 33 years. And we know this. At the accident scene, you're so juiced up on adrenaline. You've got a crashed car. You've got traffic around you. The last thing you're thinking about is how I'm really feeling. It's only 24 hours later. You say, man, my neck is hurting.
Absolutely.
My back is hurting.
Absolutely. And so some of these people are going to be pressured into saying, I'm not injured. Because if the party's going to agree there's no injuries, that's when you can leave.
Right.
Now, this is what's important. Tennessee law does not allow you to leave that scene of the accident if there's an injury. It's a misdemeanor.
Right.
That's 11 months, 29 days.
Yes.
If there's a violation.
Which means the law that is trying to prevent police from getting involved is going to even get police involved more because now you have a misdemeanor and not merely a traffic citation.
There's a potential for a misdemeanor to occur where you have an injured person or somebody that says, you know, I think I'll be okay.
Right.
Is that an injury
Yeah.
at the scene? It
Okay.
probably is.
Yeah.
I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Is that an agreement that there's no injuries? Not necessarily.
So, fast forward 24 hours later, the wreck has happened, you've driven off, your car's banged up, you know, but you don't have the other driver's insurance information because they drove off without really sharing it with you because they didn't want to. And what that means is you're going to be using your insurance to fix your car, even though it's some other driver's fault. You're going to be using your deductible to fix your car, even though it's some other driver's fault. You're going to be using your money to pay for your rental car, even though it's somebody else's fault. We had a great system in place where the responsible party paid your deductible, fixed your car, and put you into a rental. That's not going to happen anymore, boys and girls. It's not going to happen. What's going to happen is they're going to call us sooner about getting their car fixed.
And here's the other thing is, in Tennessee, to be legal to drive insurance-wise, all you have to have is liability insurance, meaning I'm responsible for the damage I cause.
Right.
So there's a lot of folks that drive around in this state, completely legal, they have liability insurance only. Well, what happens in these cases now to where somebody is driven off, you don't have uninsured motorist coverage,
Right.
you don't have a comprehensive type coverage to fix your vehicle regardless of fault. Now you've got somebody that's been involved in a crash, no fault of their own, may not have been injured, and now they don't have insurance information on the other driver because they refuse to provide it.
They have to come to a lawyer, and the lawyer has got to file a lawsuit against the negligent driver to figure out whether or not they have insurance, to confirm really what happened. If there's a dispute about at the accident scene, an intersection case or a red light case, you know, who had the red light, who had the green light. Normally, the police officer at the accident scene can interview any witnesses, take statements, and determine by looking at the red light whether or not one driver had a red light, one driver had a green light. Because there's no police officer at the scene, it's going to be a judge and a jury that determines that. That could have been determined 6 months earlier, a year earlier, without a lawsuit being filed. Because a lawsuit's filed to determine that, the insurance company has got to pay the lawyers. This new law, I mean, is going to be a boondoggle for insurance defense lawyers. I mean, they can buy bigger houses, they can drive big, nicer cars, because they're going to make a lot of money off this. And who's going to be paying for that? It's going to be me and you, with increased insurance premiums.
You mean
Insurance
the
people.
public?
Yeah.
Paying
Insurance,
premiums.
people that have insurance. Your rates are going to go up. Your premiums are going to go up because of this rule. Mark our words.
Now,
Mark our words.
We have to think of how we, as citizens of Chattanooga, how we can protect ourselves when we're involved in one of these crashes. First of all, if your vehicle is damaged and it can't be driven away, the police are going to show up. But there are circumstances where your vehicle may be able to be driven away, but it's unsafe. Suppose it's dark and a headlight's knocked out.
Right.
Suppose it's dark and a taillight's knocked out.
Right.
Suppose there's a bumper that's crunched that is close to the tire that could cut a tire. So there are situations where you could move your vehicle, but you probably shouldn't because it's unsafe. You know what you should do? You should call the police and insist that your vehicle is not safe to drive and it's not movable because it's unsafe to drive.
Right.
That's number one.
If you suspect you have a personal injury, if you suspect you're hurt, you know, the impact, you're feeling something, anything there at the accident scene, you are hurt. It's better safe than sorry. You're hurt and you call the police. Make sure the police shows up. I guess you'd be calling 911.
Well,
It's still unclear right now. As we sit here today, there's no procedures in place as we know it today as to what's going to happen exactly on January the 1st in the city of Chattanooga.
You know, Mark, the last time we checked, we did call the dispatch number of the Chattanooga Police. Admittedly, it was a week or so ago, so maybe training hadn't been put in place yet.
Admittedly, but we
But they didn't
called
know
it
what to do.
because, and admittedly, it was already on their social media though. I mean, they should have known what to do and what you posted on social media. They didn't.
Yeah,
They
we
posted social
we
media.
can't blame the people answering the phone.
No, no.
But there should be training in
No,
place.
absolutely.
So hopefully by January 1, that's been smoothed out, at least that part of this problem.
Right.
To where you will be able to talk to somebody about the accident, whether an ambulance needs to show up, whether a police officer needs to show up, whether somebody's injured, where a vehicle is unsafe to move or immovable. All those things are things that we hope ends up being smoothed out. Time is going to tell.
Right.
We'll see what
Right.
happens. But I think some of your predictions are exactly right.
There's other exceptions too. Governmental vehicles, you're going to call the police. Governmental vehicles, vehicles that are transporting hazardous materials, you're going to call the law there.
Yeah, they're going to make certain that they're going to have police officers when a government vehicle is involved.
Yes, yeah.
But you as a private citizen,
No,
get
sorry,
about it.
you don't rise to that level. So tips if you've been involved in an accident. I think my concern is, as far as what I'm worried about, is the driver that caused the accident. We don't have their correct name or address. We don't have any insurance information. So my advice, anybody is involved in an accident, take a picture of the license tag. Take the picture of the license tag. Now, that might erupt into a fist fight between people.
Well,
I mean, road rage is still a thing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that you can get a police officer to the scene. So if you're trying to exchange information and they don't have an insurance card or
Right.
they're reluctant to provide your information, the police will come to the scene if there's a disturbance.
Yes.
It's probably a disturbance.
Yeah.
If one of the individuals, vehicles involved in the crash is refusing to exchange information,
Right.
that probably rises to the level of
Right.
disturbance
Yes.
where you could request a police
Right.
officer. So if that issue arises, get a police officer there. It protects you
Mhm.
in the event there is a road
Yeah.
rage incident.
Right.
It also protects you in making sure you obtain the proper information, because you as the innocent party should not be the one who has to pay to fix your own vehicle.
Sure. Yeah. Right. That's exactly
So
right.
we'll see what happens. Hopefully after January 1, this process will smooth out. Maybe this is, maybe we're making a big deal about something that
I
shouldn't be a
don't
big
think
deal.
we are. I
but
think
I
it's
think we
going to
can,
be a complete disaster.
having done this for 33 years,
Yes.
I think we can see what
Yeah.
potential problems are on the horizon.
But yeah, obviously you can call us anytime at 265-4878. We're here 24/7 to answer any questions. We'll be doing these podcasts every couple of weeks or so. Our next subject is going to be, how much is Fido worth? How much is your precious dog worth? Say your dog has been hit by a car. Is there a wrongful death action on behalf of Fido? We'll touch on that subject next time. In the meantime,
Call us at 265-HURT.
2 marks and a mic.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Say you haven't been the same since you had your little crash, but you